Moving on to A2 is a barbell squats. One of my favorite exercises to really work my lower body, especially through my quads, okay? As you guys see here with this, I'm gonna do an elevated barbell squat. The reason why I like elevated because I actually can stand up more upright when I'm getting into my squat, okay? And I feel like my form of technique just feels so much more better. So it's up to you. You guys can do elevated. You don't have to do elevated. It's up to you. Give it a go. Let me know what you think, right? Now, moving on to a barbell squat, okay? Now, what I see a lot of people do incorrectly is I'm gonna show the incorrect form with the barbell squat. Hand placements, right? What people do is, have you guys noticed when you guys are doing squats, right? You notice that your traps get quite sore because there's so much weight on the bar and there's so much pressure on the traps, right? And you probably realize, I need to put a towel, I need to wrap around a towel from this. Guys, that is incorrect. The reason why you're probably feeling pressure through your traps and you're feeling very uncomfortable holding that bar is because your hand placement is incorrect, okay? This is how you place your hands. Obviously, other people have different mobility issues if you can't get mobility issues, but what I say is have your hand placements as closest to shoulder width stance as possible, okay? Closest to your shoulder width can allow, okay? So what you guys want to do with this, you want to kind of create a cushion on your back so you don't actually feel the pressure from the bar, right? Let me explain. So hands closest to shoulder width as possible. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing a high bar squat. High bar squat, it's going to hit me more upright, it's going to put more pressure through the quads. I find doing a low bar squat is more pressure through my hamstrings as well as glutes. Today's focus is quads, so we're going to go into a high bar, okay? Hands closest to shoulder width stance, okay? What I want to do is have that middle piece just resting above my traps, okay? Nice and close. As I lift that up, okay? From here, I want to be able to have my elbows up. So having my elbows down, traps are turned off, elbows up, traps are turned on, which I don't really feel that bar much anymore, right? Because my traps are kind of creating a bit of a cushion. So when I do squat, I don't really feel the pressure and the tension through my traps, okay? So make sure you guys don't have your hands out too far wide because you will feel the pressure through your traps and it will feel uncomfortable, okay? Also, so that's the incorrect hand placement, okay? Now the incorrect squat, okay? When squatting with a bar, okay? So this is how people do it, right? Hand placement like this, okay? Okay? What a lot of people do wrong, incorrectly, okay? Either their toes are pointed in, okay? And this is what's gonna happen. Yeah? So what people are doing is, their knees are caving in, number one. Number one, the reason why your knees are caving in is because you've got weak glutes. Number two, the reason why your knees are caving in because your toes are not spread apart. Remember, where your toes are pointed, that's the direction where your knee is going to travel, right? Toes are pointed in, your knees are going to travel in. Toes are pointed out, your knees are going to travel out. We don't want your knees to travel in, right? We want your knees to travel out. I'm not having you stand your feet too far wide out, but just slight wide out to get that direction and open up your really hip, right? That's what you guys want to be really doing, okay? So you guys don't want to do that. And also you don't want to drive your knees past your toe, okay? You really want to sit back onto the squat, okay? So that is an incorrect form, hand placement for the bar, and obviously the incorrect form with a squat. Now I'm going to be showing you how to really do the barbell squat, the high bar squat. Now the techniques I like to use with this squat is make sure you guys are tearing the floor apart. I like to utilize my glutes in a high bar squat, okay? People always ask me, Damien, how do you actually work your glutes a lot more when a squat? So this is how you do it, because you have to think about your glutes is such a big, strong muscle. If you're really utilizing your glutes in a squat, your technique, your strength's gonna go through the roof, okay? So what you guys wanna do is something called tearing the floor apart. Before I put the bar on my back, I'm gonna show you a bodyweight squat, okay? So simply, what I wanna be doing, right? I'm gonna have my hands, so always start from the ground up, right? Feet, shoulder width stance, toes slightly pointed out. What I want to pretend I'm standing on a piece of paper. This is going to allow me to tear the floor apart, which can activate my glutes a lot more. So this is what it looks like, okay? So toes out, tear the floor apart, glutes are switched on. So if you guys do this right now, glutes are switched on. From here, I want to push your knees apart and tear the floor apart at exactly the same time. Tear the floor apart, push the floor apart, sit back into it and tear the floor apart. What that's doing for me, I'm really feeling my glutes activated, so I'm gonna get a lot more stronger through my squat. So make sure you guys are doing that, okay? Now, chucking a bar on my back, okay? This is how I'm gonna do bar placement with a high bar squat, okay? Shoulder with stance, closest to mobility as possible. Putting it, resting above the traps. Picking that bar up, okay? Placing your feet stance, elevated, toes pointed slightly out. Now with my hand placement, my elbows are gonna be up, okay? By posting my elbows up, it's going to create a cushion, so I don't really feel that bar. Another little thing too, okay? When I'm squatting, I wanna push the bar down into my traps. It's gonna allow me to keep a neutral spine and go through the motion, okay? So what I'm gonna be doing here, toes slightly pointed apart. Remember, at exactly the same time, I wanna tear the floor apart and sit back onto the squat while tearing the floor apart, okay? So from here, also breathing in through the nose, holding that breath, breathing out. So guys, that's how you do the correct high bar barbell squat.